I am live. Let's see. Doesn't seem to be. There we go. Just in case. Don't need slow mo. Just in case somebody stops by. Um, just wanted to kind of set up. The video hasn't actually physically started. It's going to start in about 10 minutes. But as I'm doing my setup, I just wanted to, talk about a few things. Pretty much just hang out in case somebody comes into the stream. We can chat with them. I don't know. I don't believe anybody's going to come in, but that's where we're at right now. I'm going to look up. I don't know why this is doing this. I figure it all out. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I might actually end up running late now because of this. This isn't this stream isn't even nearly as popular as other things that I've been doing. And when I'm talking about popular, I'm talking about like one person could change the popularity of my entire site. So you gotta take I have to remember to take everything with a grain of salt on what people are interested in seeing and what they're not interested in seeing. And it's just I don't think that what is it? You don't want this. March 19th, 2014. Now we're moving right along. Let's get to March 19th. I might not even get through 2014 in an hour. It has definitely become apparent, um, and wasn't very apparent at the time when I was originally making my videos and stuff like that. That I was very forceful with my opinion and how I related it, and people, instead of seeing it for what it was, which was I'm imparting information, they saw it as an attack. And then, of course, when they attacked me, I in turn attacked them back. So, I will never say that I didn't draw first blood, but it's definitely looking that way. That's why. Oh, that's why. Let's try to fix this. Problem before we even get started. That's a feedback loop from the internal microphone on this freaking computer. And in my early videos, I don't know if you noticed that I was having a lot of issues with my sound volume. And what it was it was just basically saying that I'm just too loud, and it was lowering the volume down. Now I got complete control. I bet I'm coming in a lot louder. At least I hope I am. Um, one of the things that's going to happen in about 4 minutes when I start reading the post is I'm going to be talking about things like I was just mentioning before. I try not to be. Oh, why did it go there? Come on, go back. Oh, I fucking hate Facebook. Yeah, and I lost all my progress. I don't think I'm going to go through, make it past 2014. And if I do, I'll just start another page. 2015 itself is pretty long. Why are you not listening to me? No, I don't want to see what you. I'm not on Facebook to be communicative. Go to my page. I just wasted 10 minutes on this, and I'm not anywhere further. The reason that I'm doing this, reason that I'm actually reading the post is basically just to have those memories, have those things that I said, 10 years ago. I mean, anything past 10 years, I've been on Facebook for 30, so anything past, 20 years of information, most of it just garbage, but it's gone. Um, and now that it's gone, I'm kind of like, do I have, if I wait, 10 more years, would almost everything that I'm, reading right now, will that all be gone? Because I'm not really posting anymore. And if you saw the first video, you'll notice that I'm just skipping right over everything because in 2011, I didn't really post. I wasn't very active on Facebook. And not being very active on Facebook really not really a double-edged sword, but what happened was is that anything more than it's the reason why I started in July and didn't start in February or March of 2011 because I didn't have any posts back then. I didn't post in those months, and there fortunately, like now 7 years ago, 7 years ago, I was posting fairly regularly. That's the reason why 2014 is pretty chock full of stuff. And 2015, I'm actually kind of happy. It does have memories that go beyond 2011. And at least I think it does. And hopefully we'll be able to get those. Those will have they're basically their say so. So it would be a glimpse into things that are more than 10 years old, but that's all it's going to only be is a glimpse. But the reason I'm still doing those stuff from 10 years ago is because in future this stuff won't happen, and I'm already supposed to be starting the regular vlog, and I'm not even ready yet. Don't freaking jump to something. I am obviously not going to record any of the quizzes or any of the silliness of that nature. These are really just going to be my own post. And as per the previous one, any comments are I'm just going to call them commenter or another commenter, depending on if there's multiple comments going on. Because my responses actually, I think, are worth saving or even talking about. So right. I believe I was in March. Let's bring these things up together. I forgot. I believe it is March 19th. Let's do this. Yeah, March 19th. So we're going to start with the post on March 19th. Yep, empty chat, so I don't have to worry about that. All right, so I'm almost there. I actually overshot it a little bit. What's going on March 19th? There it is. All right. See why I stopped on this one. Okay. Being a relic is a difficult thing for me to come to terms with. You know what? Hold that thought. I need to get something. Sorry about yet another delay. All right, let's see if this helps. This should help. There we are. This is one of my laps, a long ass post that everybody was complaining about a lot. Being a relic is a difficult thing for me to come to terms with. When I was a kid, I loved Star Trek comic books and playing D&D. Though I wasn't very intelligent, I was popular. I'd always been true to myself about these things I liked. I even filmed badly a superhero film for people from my school wearing costumes made out of cardboard. And I knew from a very early age that I want to be a part of the movie industry. And if I had my chance, I would never let go of it. I had my chance and I let go. But this isn't what I really what's on my mind right now. After several weeks since a heated debate about a tabletop game called Warhammer 40K, ooh, yay, 40K. I was putting together some old figures, some that I meant to put together more than 20 years ago. I was nostalgic about how much fun this game used to be and how today it's not. During the debate, I stood firm on how the way the game was today was no longer fun. But the truth is, I'm the one it's not fun for. I'm the relic player of a long dead game that today's game doesn't have room for an old fart tooting on its parade. It was great to have these old feelings back, no matter how short-lived. But I'm sorry for ruining the current version, because in truth, I was playing like it was 1988 again. So I'm doing what happens to every old relic. I'm boxing up my figures in hopes of playing again, but knowing it will not happen. And this has 20 comments. So from one poster, nothing wrong with being a relic. Still a huge fan of 80s music. Says a lot about your character that you stay true to your roots. Don't ever change. I I don't think the commenter really understood what my post was, and maybe my post is wrong. Maybe I posted it wrong. Maybe I wasn't saying, listen, I gotta basically, recognize that I'm a relic. Not that it's nothing wrong with being a relic. It's I'm fine with being me. So that literally a whole thing has nothing, that whole beginning of the comment has nothing to do with it. And then it's just like, stay true. I mean, stay true to what? That if I want to play a long dead game, I'm going to be in for a rude awakening because nobody's playing it. People are playing the new game. It kind of looks like the old game, kind of, even has a lot of the same names, but it's not the old game. They've changed it so much that it's different, and I don't understand why. So let's go to another commenter. I feel you, man. There was a time in my youthful outlook that allowed me certain adaptability that I no longer possess today. D&D peaked for me at version 3 something. Warhammer and at 4th edition, and now things seem like they're not so great rehashes of something to me that didn't need changing, just growing. Another commenter. How old are you people? I earned a bachelor's degree at 49, a master's at 50, and a doctorate degree at 56, and my dream job at 63. You're just getting started. Again, and that commenter basically replying to the original commenter, and they said, you go. And they have their name, but I'm not going to do this. I responded, thanking the poster. I asked the question, but did you play Magic the Gathering using Black Lotuses as a coaster and creating crazy things such as a Rook Egg deck before they limited your deck to 4 of any one type? I'm very proud. I'm very proud of your accomplishments. Being a relic is not about how useful that relic is in today's society. It's about the nostalgic look back 20 to 30 years and how awesome those games were. But before someone with a money agenda ruined it. The current players, I assume, think that it's great or they don't notice the changes. So I think I'm getting in a time machine and playing that game again as I played when I was a teenager, and I'm gobsmacked to find out this game is under the same name as my beloved childhood game, and it's completely stripped of the fun or what I thought was fun about the game. The original poster, no, I didn't play those games, and I do not understand what you're saying. We all have to face the realities of life and getting older. I was trying to put in perspective with a little humor. I guess I should have said, lighten up, Francis. LOL. So I'm going to actually mention my old principal's name when I was back in Catholic school. I remember Sister Ann Troy, my principal, when I was in parochial school. I really should have started with this. When I was back there in seminary school, there was a person there who put forth the proposition. Anyhow, the good sister hauled me into her office to discuss the game we were playing called Kill. After various torture techniques were employed against me, we realized together that Kill is just a simple game of tag. played by children for hundreds of years. But this game evolved from tag to You're It to Monkey in the Middle, cooties to kill the ball carry to finally just kill. The evolution was basically the same game, only more violent, and I can finally say that I understand what Sister and Troy was telling me 30 years ago. Another poster. Did you mean that you're an old fart or that a fart from the past is just revisited? Either way, it's funny to think that you're tooting on some sort of parade. Sean, the only thing that is a relic here are the rules. I thank you for showing me this game. Thank you for showing me this game. It wouldn't matter the game. It's nice to spend time with you. If you can't join us in the present or take time to read the rules, it's not fun anyway. You slice it or toot it. Try to enjoy the time with us instead of trying to win all the time. You may find more laughter than fights. I found you many times cheating and completely disregarding that they'd even wrote a rule book. We caught you pretending to read the rules, and then you said, "It says here that I can do what I want." That's all fine. I'm going to. There's two sides to every story, and this is this person's side when I was playing this game and getting really irate about the game and how the way the new rules work do not get jive with the rules that I'm used to playing, and how it would be more fun if we did it this way. Using Warhammer 40k. I'm an orc player. I freaking don't need to win all the time, and I freaking rarely win. I probably have the most losses of anybody else in the history of this game. I've gone to tournaments and placed 100 out of 100. So don't even get into this like I need to win all the time. But as far as me disregarding the rules, these rules made no freaking sense. It literally was basically sucking the fun. The rules themselves were sucking the fun out of it. And I was trying to change the rules on purpose and pretending like I was reading them because it was more fun to have things actually happen than literally me marching my army on the board and basically them getting decimated. That's the only thing I wanted to have. I wanted to have something else happen. You were going to win. There was no way for me to win because the way the rules of 6th edition at the time were set up, it sucked. It was horrible. And they didn't upgrade the orcs at the time, and the orcs were basically playing with an old system that no longer worked. It was bad all around. And as far as you saying like you didn't care which game it was, well, that was the game. Because I tried to play a different game, and you guys decided, we're going to still play with this game because we're having fun beating your ass. Well, it's not fun. It's the game. That was what I was trying to say. My response, and here I am, going to basically just reiterate what I said. I meant that I held in gas for 25 years and finally let her rip. But after looking at all the emails, the parade, I realized that's my stance, that it was outdated. I was completely in the dark about the newer rules coming down the pipeline, and I hated the current 6th edition. See, I even remembered which edition that we were playing at the time. And what I should have done was not played. I would have felt better. The only thing nice about getting back into 40k was me realizing how lucky I was to have played it when I did. Fortunately for me, the only thing that they will never take away from me. What an awesome time, which is why I'm not going to eBay my orcs. I found my old rule books, the old army list, and everything will be boxed up together, put in storage, and I'll wait until some old players from the past come up with great idea of doing old rule games, and they all would have to do is call me, and I'll be there. The poster said, or come up with a new strategy that stays within the bounds of the rules and reality, so we can play this game with you. Turn and face the strange changes. Again, I'm like, you're not. See, the person who's posting sees what they want. They want me to basically enter into these games and be a part of this game and stuff like that because they think it's fun. They think it's really fun that I literally can't do anything because of the way the new rules are set up. That literally that any of the fun that I used to do, any of the strategies I used to have, they're gone. You're not even listening to what I was. You didn't even read what I wrote. You're just basically, this person is basically just set on their whatever agenda that they have, and is wrong. It's the stupidest thing in the world. And here I am. I'm talking about my response, and my response is pretty much going to be the same thing, other than the fact that you no longer play. I no longer wish to follow 40K into the apocalypse. For those who know, Apocalypse is actually the spin-off game that failed. To sell models, Games Workshop has brought those rules into the general 40K game. I didn't like fourth edition when I stopped playing the first time. Comparing 6th edition to those rules, it's like ordering a T-bone steak and getting a slice of uncooked spam on your plate. Every game I have played, which is about 30 games, with 6th edition rules, has tasted like this. It has nothing to do with the people I've played with, nor does it have anything to do with winning. It only has to do with the fact that I've never had fun. To top it off, I've consistently felt that I was surrounded by players who were having less fun than I was, and I sucked it up. I tried to keep laughing and smiling, but like the other players, after the game I played, I realized that I sincerely despise this game. And what upsets me most about it is that this game is the same name of the game that I loved to play 2 decades ago. Oh, and yes, I smiled. But if you illegally wipe out my force with a smile, would it have been the same? Does it change the fact that I really wanted to play? What I really wanted to play was a completely different game. The poster. What's wrong with spam? I said, nothing's wrong with spam. It's just not a T-bone steak. Then the poster said, maybe play with a different army. I'll buy a force of your choice. Start at the beginning with us. Turn the page. Don't quit. Don't let 2 Morlocks crawl under the table and ruin everything. You are more clever than that. And if you haven't cracked a smile out, I'm buying you a basketball for Christmas. I remember talking to you on the phone, playing huge battles. It was awesome. I love and miss my Tyranids. I brought up this. I said, actually, if you played the original Tyranids with the original rules, you'd be saying, what the hell do I need a Moloch for? I got Gene Stealers. They can just take my opponent's army as my own. Original Tyranids were very expensive point-wise, tiny little force, and feared above all others. Now it's just shoot 'em up and might as well just play Space Marines because they've become a horde army, and like all horde armies, except the original orcs, enough firepower will put you down. As for buying me another battle force, I only play orcs. No other army interests me in the slightest. As far as the basketball, I barely know how to dribble. Could you send me the money instead? There's a huge difference between talking about huge battles and following 6th edition in the game. I've watched so many meltdowns from players. I have cracked jokes. I've even tried to play by the old rules. I'm tired of it. I'll get you a copy of the 2nd and 3rd edition Tyranids, and you tell me that fielding only 10 Gene Stealers isn't just plain awesome. The poster again. I'm sure it was cool. Everything we can play and everything. We can play old rules, but they have made new models for Tyranids. Not everything is black and white. Sometimes it's purple and white and burrows under the table. Um, yeah, it goes into this, but yeah, I was trying to talk about like how I'm just tired of it and I want to play my game, and nobody wanted. That was the thing when people who haven't played the game, since the beginning, see the original rules. Even here I was like, touting it like, oh, you'll change your mind and stuff like that. But when they did see the original rules, they're like going, what's this, a joke? Are you sure? Is this how this works? You mean I have to actually use a strategy to like, make this happen? How come you're just playing orcs and you're just charging in like crazy madman? What is going on here? Um, yeah, it um, just kind of crazy. But yeah, that relates to where I'm doing with the orcs now. And you'll see that I'm not even following. I'm not even following the 8th edition rules, because here I am complaining about the 6th edition rules, and the 7th edition rules were just absolutely god awful. So you had to literally make it to 8th edition. 8th edition basically was like they kind of reined it back in, but it was still kind of bad. Still kind of didn't work, and the more expansions into now, because now they're into 9th edition, and the more I see about what they've done with the orcs in 9th edition, there might as well just be Space Marines. It's like they don't even, all their uniqueness is just gone from it. So here we go. We're gonna go to May 17th. So yeah, we're jumping. Yeah, like I said, I didn't do a lot of posting. Like, I wasn't posting every day. So May 17th, 2014. So here's something that's been bothering me since last year when I sat through the second of the third movies that butchered J.R.R. Tolkien's Hobbit. So looking past things like Azog not being dead and living 200 years, and 13 dwarves basically being hobbits with facial hair, store hobbits maybe, because even the Longbeard King seems to be lacking in the required Darrow facial hair department. Legolas actually being part of the story with a girlfriend in tow. Darrows and elves actually being nice to each other, basically stealing Gimli and Legolas's miracle. Smaug should have just eaten Bilbo, who thought he had lines of being scared and is very brave indeed. The Arkenstone being in the Lonely Mountain instead of Bilbo stealing a trivial goblet, which Smaug would know instantly that even a single coin was missing. Like that was one of the things I liked about the book, that when he steals this goblet and takes it back to the original 13, they were all like amazed by it. They weren't, they didn't fight the battles because the dwarves had the Arkenstone. The Arkenstone was this. Still takes the theft out on the fishing village of Dale. The truth is, I can look past all of those things. The one thing I can't is Black Arrow. First, not belonging to Bard. Instead, it's a dwarven ballista missile. Why does Peter Jackson have to ruin everything? Why can't he grasp the concept that a single arrow shot from a longbow into the soft flesh, a single spot of missing scale of Smaug would kill him? I mean, seriously, that's what the entire book is about. Something or someone very small doing something incredibly grand. And that would have gotten me on my seat and cheer. I believe that a dragon killing ballista called Black Arrow doesn't need Smaug to have a missing scale to penetrate, especially one of dwarven make. You can tell, sarcastic, that I was so looking forward to seeing the finale of this movie. At least there won't be any more movies destroying J.R.R. Tolkien's work by Peter Jackson. Oh, nice try, Sean. I think one commenter, this is why I don't read books. They ruin movies. Now, the movie was still trash even without reading the books, but I definitely when you touch on something of that nature, or something that I basically held dear, making just such trash movie. I mean, literally just trash movie, just absolutely insane to me. Love the comment. Now my quandary is, do you like the Hobbit movies? The commenter said this is why he doesn't read the books. They ruin the movies, and this is their response. No, I don't like the Lord of the Ring movies, not because they don't align with the books. They're just bad movies. I say, agreed. I'm not one of the purists that believes that the movie or the TV show has to align perfectly with the books. Hell, I like Game of Thrones much better as a TV show than the books. This is 2014. Just so you guys know that in 2014, I was loving what they were doing with the I was loving what Game of Thrones was doing with the source material and where they were going with it, because actually and for the longest time, most of the seasons were definitely better. In the source material. Jackson does not. Tolkien, I read back in grade school, and at the time I loved the animated movies much more, which I saw first. I think the books, though, they went into great detail about changing weather, and in the Shire, the hobbits were described as all almost the same, except Merry and Pippin, who drank int juice and were larger, as were the dwarves, the menfolk, and the elves. Each tribe had their own differences, but they were all pretty much the same. The animation basically made them all as different characters, leaving me with a clear picture of what each character should look like, both the Hobbit and the Lord of the Ring animations. Left out entire chapters and even some key parts of the books, but this was only because they were limited by time, making reading the books a surprising but welcome discovery. Jackson movies were not limited by time. Instead, they had those key scenes back in. I lost my place. Sorry. Difference between the animation and Jackson's live actions are way too numerous to count. But one key thing about the Lord of the Rings movie and Return of the King, I have to say, was ruined was Eowyn striking down the Witch King. Jackson decided to make women wielding swords commonplace. So why would the Witch King be surprised that a woman would attack him? It has to be my favorite scene in both the books and the animation, but it's lost in the live action movie. As for The Hobbit, Bard killing Smaug with Black Arrow from his bow is the reason I played D&D for so many years. I'd always wanted to be Bard, saving the town from a dragon with a single desperate arrow shot. Jackson taking that away from me, there's no words on how to describe how disappointed I am. Okay, I'm going to say this. I know it will help someone. And for this, and this is for the movies and anything not make sense. And they played a video of Johnny Cochran with the glove don't fit. That's it. That's me talking about the Lord of the Rings. I should mention this because I posted a thing about the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, and I said that's what I'm talking about. That I love it when a film studio takes risk like this, and I'm sure it looks like it will pay off. Disney, deleted the last one from YouTube, so good and bad, we get a little bit of both. On May 26, 2014, to every single military personnel, I just wanted to say thank you for your sacrifice. Thank you for your sacrifice. Because of you, I enjoy the freedoms that I have and can openly mock our government for being stupid. Because I'm greedy, I always want more, and it's because of brave men and women that fight to protect my right to do so. I cannot thank you enough. A commenter. We just need to keep our eyes and hearts open for the vets that are struggling when they come home. Big hugs, dude. What they do to our service people is just beyond appalling, in my opinion. That was considered a long ass post, just so you guys know. Yeah, I've never liked the fact that our government seems to utilize the resource of our military as kind of a police action, and how we need to basically push our own personal agenda on other people. I think that it's created more conflicts than it's solved, and our military is there to be forced. They're not. It's not that if our military shows up any place, that means that diplomacy has failed. That means that we are now defending ourselves, but the way the government uses it, it's not defending. We're basically forcing our agenda onto others. And I've always hated that, and I've always thought it was stupid. As a side, let's get into May 29th, 2014. Saw X-Men Days and Futures Past, an adaptation of my favorite two-part comic series from the Uncanny X-Men 141 and 142. And I should probably read those because it's actually awesome, those two comic books. And though it has a huge box office rating, I wasn't all that impressed. I feel like Peter Jackson should have directed this and turned it into a trilogy, and Bryan Singer should have directed The Hobbit and kept it one movie. there's so much that has happened since the X-Men Last Stand. So many new mutants that had never gotten the proper introduction, that the desperate nature of the future never took hold for me. Now, going back to 1972, so much has happened since First Class, when Wolverine travels back to his younger self. I can't figure out what or even why these things were even happening. It was as though they had forgotten everything that they've introduced, treated all characters as if they were new, and then try to care. It was also a little disappointment in that it was a perfect opportunity to set up Age of Apocalypse, and that didn't happen. So, like Days and Futures Past, the next X-Men movie will have to struggle on its own, completely separate from all other X-Men movies. Doing this is such a shame, as the old saying go: "Fool me once, shame on you; fool me twice, shame on me." Since I wasn't looking forward to seeing my since I wasn't looking forward to seeing my favorite X-Men series adapted to the screen, but I still saw it, I think I might have passed. I think I might pass on Age of Apocalypse, a storyline that I wasn't all that impressed with, mostly because Days and Future Past already did it and did it so much better. And no comments. Gets easier when there's no comments. We're already at the 40-minute mark. I did start a little bit late, so I'm going to run a little bit later. I will actually really want to get through 2014, and I don't think I'm going to do it. So I had somebody ask me, on June 1st, 2014. So I had someone ask me why I hated them. I wrote back and said that I didn't, and where did they get that idea? Partly because I don't know which sarcastic remark I made that they were referring to. There are so many. They told me it was because I corrected them. I asked them, was it wrong for me to do that? They responded with no, but I didn't have to be so cruel about it. I told them I was just being blunt. I really don't know how to create a correction that is flowery and full of rainbows in real life, and how can I be expected to do this on the web, which by its very own nature is very impersonal. I also know that this is difficult for many of you to believe, but I make a lot of mistakes, especially grammatical, spelling mistakes, but a lot of the ideas are right off the top of my head, and they're all jumbled up together. So I tend to get facts confused, dates wrong, and even more, and dates wrong even more. What I actually enjoy is someone just telling me, you're so wrong. This is what the facts are. For example, Star Trek. I start talking about the time that Spock was a Klingon with a really cool goatee. In fact, I like this his goatee so much that I currently have one. If someone told me, Spock was never a Klingon, you probably mean the mirror universe. Turn in your Trek nerd badge. I wouldn't think that they were attacking me, though I probably would have to admit that I have to turn in my Trekkie badge. I probably have to admit that I turned in my Trekkie badge 12 years ago. So what I'm getting at is I don't hate you, but if you think my attempts to correct you is wrong, please prove it. If you don't need to sugarcoat it. Oh my God, I can't even read my own writing. I'm a big boy now. I can take it. I can actually feel if I actually feel I'm wrong, I will admit it. But if I think you're wrong, I will attempt to sound as nice as possible, and with something like "you can stick that dandelion where the rainbow don't shine." That actually sounds like I would hate the person. Just know that that just because I don't like your ideas, I don't hate you. If I hated a person, I wouldn't even ever respond to them because whatever opinion they have, even if it's in agreement with me, doesn't matter. If I don't want to spend 1 second thinking about it. So if you think that my post is cruel, just remember it's because I like you. And I'm responding, and I responded. And I'm comfortable enough not to hold back with my opinion. This is Carl Sagan post on June 1st, 2014. This is why theology and political science aren't really sciences, and neither should they be included in any scientific study. Science is based on study, not faith, religion, or a lack of faith, politics. This is the quote from Carl Sagan. In science, it often happens that scientists say, that's a really good argument. My position is mistaken. Then they would actually change their minds. And you never hear that old view from again. They really do it. It doesn't happen as often as it should because scientists are human and change is sometimes painful. But it happens every day. I can't recall the last time someone said something like that. It happens in politics or religion. Nice quote. I like that. On the 4th of June, let me start off with something very personal. I have a pet peeve, if you will. Everyone can believe whatever they want. I will fight to the death to protect someone and everyone else's right to their belief. I don't care how you came to the conclusion you did or how you interpreted ancient writings. I will give you all the respect I can, and I will try not to insult that belief. The only thing I ask in return is do not expect me to agree with you. I would like the same courtesy I extend to you extended back to me. I don't even for 1 second expect you to agree with me. When someone uses their belief to tell me how I should live my life or what will happen after I die, I'm insulted. I assume that they would be insulted if I imposed my belief on them, saying everything that they believe is a lie and paradise does not await them. That said, what I'm about to type is my belief. It's not intended to insult or be imposing on your belief. So here it is. I do not believe in any higher power that I can petition, pray, to thank, or otherwise will have any effect on my life. I will not turn myself or stand on my own. I will turn to myself. I gotta be able to read what I wrote. I will turn to myself, stand on my own when I fail. I want to succeed without any mystical force that no one understands, deciding if I'm worthy or I need more testing. I want to be a good person, deciding that I'm worthy or I want to be a good person because I am, not because I will be rewarded after I die. I hold myself to a higher standard than anyone else, and I feel that this is it. I will live a very short time, and after I die, I will be no more. I don't get a second chance unless I cheat death, but then it's just an extension on the only chance. The truth is, I don't know what will happen after I die. I don't really have the time to delve into that what quite possibilities is a fictional afterlife. Last, I don't want to change this belief. It makes me responsible for my actions. In order to get forgiveness, I have to work at it. I have to make amends. Not just say a few prayers and it all goes away. I also like self-praise. It makes me feel great that I don't have to share my good deeds or good works with an omnipotent entity. I know nothing, it's one sentence, Sean. Let's try this. Just read this sentence one more time. I like self-praise. It makes me feel great that I don't have to share my good deeds or good works with an omnipotent entity I know nothing about. I like to walk my own path to the beat of my own drum. If there's an afterlife, I'm not going to beg to join because I have to pretend to be a good person to get into heaven. I'm not I'm going to spend I'm going to have to spend eternity pretending to be good, and that would for me would be hell. I always jokingly say, I don't believe in God that doesn't believe in me. But that's not entirely the picture. I will not live my life in fear. Like I said, I believe this only. I believe this is my only shot at life. I have to make the best of it, no matter what. So you never need to pray for me. If you want, I will pray for you, but I don't expect God to listen to me. And if you need something besides prayer and I can do it, I will certainly do my best. No responses. June 15th, 2014. Well, Dads, another year, another day. So you know what you did and who you did it with. And for those who went there, get your mind out of the gutter. And talking about your relationship with your children. Geez. Sorry to all you dads that don't have sex on the brain. Okay. I'll make it a short poem. Basically something different for me. May you always be the greatest in the eyes. May you always be the greatest in their eyes, and may your day also be great, even when it starts with a tie. I gotta read that better. The poem goes like this. May you always be the greatest in their eyes. May your day also be great, even when it starts with a tie. I can't even freaking read my own freaking poems. I am amazing. June 27th, 2014. Saw Lucy movie. I was actually surprised that the character was named after the discovery of the Australopithecus by Don Johnson. But it seems that's where the cleverness ends. Though the movie had a lot of action, everything seemed forced, especially the idea of drug mules, of brain enhancers, that once they discovered that a person can become super intelligent, why the bad guys weren't dipping into their own stashes. Something that should have been done before deciding the worldwide distribution inside the human body, when they could have easily used the crystals to dampen any inhibitors for our electronic equipment and just mailed it, instead of putting a drug package that would show up on a TSA scanner. So lame setup, bad guys beating her until the package breaks was not so original device. The rest of the movie goes like this. So not the worst movie of 2014, but not even a good film. The use of Morgan Freeman makes an insane fictional science believable. Probably works on most people, unless they already were aware that the reason that he is in this film is to suspend disbelief because we like the sound of his voice. Titty sprinkles. August 5th, 2014. Okay, here's my review of Guardians of the Galaxy. It is the best comic book adaptation ever. The movie works great for those of us putting together the Marvel Studio puzzle, as well as being a standalone movie. I went in with very high expectations. I'm talking Tron Legacy expectations here, and they were met and surpassed in some cases. This is a movie that I will watch many, many times in the future. I can see Rocket having his own franchise to complement the Guardians of the Galaxy, like Captain America complements the Avengers. Thumbs up, 5 of 5 stars. or any other rating that I can give top marks to. This breaks into my top 10 movies of all times at number 3. Ooh, it made number 3. There hasn't been a movie to make it that far since Big Fish. Before that, there was Chaplin, Jacob's Ladder, and Jacob's Ladder still holds on to the number 1 spot. For those who know me, knows that I watch a lot of movies and generally hate movies coming out. Very few movies get a positive review from me, and even those tend to not get praise and basically are deemed tolerable. Guardians of the Galaxy is how space movies should be done, no question. I agree with a lot of people who claim that the formula is very Farscape and not Firefly. But I love Farscape and firmly believe that it created the best TV show ever. I disagree with those who thought that they were taking a lot of risk. Great script, perfect casting, and beautifully shot is not taking any risk in my book. Even the music was spot on. I also have to disagree with Disneyfied. Yes, it's rated PG-13 and geared towards a younger audience, even though this is a very different movie from the 1990 comic books. Still brings them to life while remaining true to the characters, which most, everyone but Rocket, first appearance were as villains. I wouldn't change a thing, except I left wanting so much more. There were 3 comments. Commenter, hey, someone said that your favorite. Hey, someone said that your favorite is Rocket the Raccoon. I have to say, Groot really steals the show here, but I certainly identify more with Rocket than any other character, especially my penchant for coming up with plans, taking apart things, and how I deal with people is very similar to him. The commenter, yeah, taking things apart thing is so you. I do like taking things apart. I do identify probably the most out of all the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy. I probably identify most with Rocket Raccoon. August 9th, 2014. I do not mind when people disagree with me. In fact, I rather enjoy it. It opens my mind to new and different possibilities. It opens dialogues of opposing viewpoints. I can actually get excited when faced against a very passionate or impassioned person defending their ideals. Here's what I do mind: the argument degrading into foul language, personal attacks on my character because I don't agree with you, and being censored, or the removal of my ideas because I won't bend to the concept that I don't believe in. It was written in our Declaration of Independence that all men were created equal. We live in a time that by law that includes women being just as equal as well. I will not flinch on the equality of all. I will stand firm on the fact that this equality extends to every human being on this planet, not just Americans, because that is a truth that I hold very close to my heart. So all things being equal, everyone has the opportunity to friend me here on Facebook. I will give you the respect and I will expect in return. I will not belittle your beliefs. I will express my disagreement and I will explain in detail why I don't agree. I will not erase your opinion or even those that are opposite of my own, even if you attack me. But be warned, I will fight back. If you unfriend me or delete any of my posts, I will block you. Because if you don't like what I said so much that you will do, either your opinion no longer matters to me, because my opinion doesn't matter to you.
August 17th, 2014. I'm perplexed. I live in a country founded on religious freedom and equality for all, yet there are those who believe that it is their duty to subjugate, oppress, and misalign what this country's very foundation was about. If you wouldn't want "in Allah we trust" on our money, why would we disrespect those beliefs by opposing the United States monetary system is entrusted with the Christian God of the Trinity? The excuse I hear is, "Oh, but it's the same God everyone else believes in." This is not true in the slightest. It's okay because you believe it's your God. The reason people think that their God being mentioned on the money is because they don't give God a name. It's a generic, and if you believe your God is generic, then you haven't even started practicing your faith. Brass tacks here. Eisenhower was a Presbyterian, so it would stand that the God is probably still Yahweh, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. That's the God of the Trinity, Yahweh, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. Though I could be wrong, my question is, how, after 180 years, did we have to promote a single faith over others? And why can't we just apologize for this mistake and fix it? The first step in standing up for what is right and knowing what is right the first step in standing up for what is right is knowing what is right in the first place. One of my brothers came down on me for voicing my opinion, and I believe that it's that very sentence that got him all riled up, because I was saying he didn't know what was right and he was standing up for this country and he would blindly give his life for it. So, what is right? I believe that all men are created equal under the law. This means what is good for one is good for all. No one's belief is better than the next. If you have a fundamental right to pursue your own happiness, if it is the only thing that makes you happy is pouring misery onto others, you should be punished severely for stopping someone else for living the life the best way they know how. This is giving women exclusive rights to choose what they want to do with their own bodies. Same sex couples being equal in every way to different sex couples. A person who wants to own a gun, as long as they don't misuse it, should own a gun. I personally don't do drugs, and I quit drinking 13 years ago. But I have no problem with the person who is not harming anyone but themselves with drugs, on themselves with doing either. I do think that there should be a warning label of responsibility, that no matter how impaired you become, you are responsible for your action, as well as the health risk. I believe giving choice is giving freedom, and it will always stand up for that. I quote the band Rush from the song Free Will, the chorus. You can choose a ready guide or some celestial voice. If you choose not to decide, you'll still have made a choice. You can choose from phantom fears and kindness that can kill. I will choose a path that's clear. I will choose free will. Commenter said, good point, Sean. It's even more absurd that in the early 1950s, because the communists were seen as a godless threat, our government added "under God" to the Pledge of Allegiance. Jefferson, Franklin, Adams would be screaming, the separation of church and state must be absolute. I definitely gave that a thumbs up. Another commenter, Sean, another line from the same song. Blame is better to give than to receive. Doesn't that sum up people so well today? No one debates anymore. No one discusses anymore. Everyone tries to change someone else's opinion or blame those differing opinions for the problems in their lives and in the world. And the lyrics you quoted, if you choose not to decide, you'd still have made a choice, I think exemplifies today in people allowing their decisions to be made for them by whatever agenda they associate themselves with rather than actually thinking for themselves. I really could rant on and on about it, but I got too much work to do. I'm actually surprised that I didn't respond to these. It looks like I liked them, but I didn't respond to these. Another commenter, you are right. We need to have a revolution in our thought patterns. I'm using a mouse now. I'm using a mouse. Why did you do that? I'm not getting through 2014 within an hour. I am pretty much done, and I'm actually kind of pissed off now. Two 2014 was actually a really big year, so I think it's funny that this thing goes all the way back to 1980. In the looking for posts in the year, and I don't have any post from beyond 2011. I think I was in August. Let's do that. Oh, I screwed up. 1 second. Just my post. What a beautiful post. I'm perplexed. Who knew that it was going to be a line in Hamilton? I don't need to go over this about the freedoms ever again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with the next one. That's going to be August 28th, 2014. And it's my last rant about the Ice Bucket Challenge. Woohoo! I get to talk about the Ice Bucket Challenge. Oh boy. Fun was had by all. But it's going to be August 28th, 2014. So we can even do this. Zero eight. Oh, see, look, I don't even remember what it is. August 28th. 28th. 2014. Yay. Okay. I only got to August. I pretty much didn't even get through 6 months. So maybe my long ass posts are really long ass. Who knows? I think I've been talking too much about other things. But I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoy the video. We didn't have anybody in the chat, so I would love to thank them for joining me. But we'll do this again next Tuesday. And yeah, you guys have a wonderful night. Okay? Cool beans.